Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna, welcome to Saturday Sanga. On October 15th, 2022, in Sadhu-bhavan, Poland, and all over the world. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatang Vitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitangscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay. I'm happily surprised to see Rasamrita Shesha with us. At least his name is here. Hare Krishna. Are you there, Rasamrita Shesha?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Yes, I am.
You're here, Jai.
Thank you very much.
Uruguay Yatra Ki Jai.
Jai. Very good. Jai.
Daityesha is all fired up about that too, since he's also from the holy land of
We
Uruguay.
hope.
Huh? Yeah.
Yes, we hope he will come here to help us.
So, and nice to see you all. Okay. We are continuing with, we are in the month of Damodara, the month of Kartik, and we started discussing some last week. And we started singing this nice song. I hope you like it. And I thought we should continue it. We just got started. We sang the first 8 verses, and we have many more verses to go. Let's see, where is it? There it is. Okay. Yeah. This is Govinda Damodara mādhaveti. Now, what was the origin of this song? All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Okay. Anyway, it's a nice song. It's interesting because, of course, each verse has as the final line, Govinda Damodara mādhaveti. And as usual, the iti at the end is like quotation marks, so it's Govinda Damodara Madhava iti. And then each verse is describing some situation in which devotees are chanting these 3 names, Govinda, Damodara, and Madhava. And these are, some of them are humorous, like number 8. The younger brother of Balaram, playing mischievously, was dodging about one of the gopis, with restless eyes, taking a ball of fresh butter to lure him over. A gopi called him, "O Govinda Damodara Madhava." So some playfulness is there. Okay, let's go through. Let's maybe go through the translations first. Starting with verse 9, we can do the next 8 verses. O my tongue, since my mouth has become like a lotus, by dint of the presence, because of the presence there of these eloquent, ornamental, delightful syllables, you are like the swan that plays there. As your foremost pleasure, always articulate the names Govinda, Damodara, and Madhava. So it's addressing the tongue. My dear tongue, you are ornamented by chanting these names, so keep chanting them. And this will be your greatest pleasure. The one and only Lord of Laksmi Devi, as an inconspicuous little cowherd baby, was seated in the lap of Mother Yasoda, drinking her breast milk. Merged in bliss, she addressed him as Govinda, Damodara, and Madhava. So the word gudham would mean, here translated as inconspicuous. Śiśu. Śiśu means baby, small child. Anka adirudham must mean on the lap. And then stana means breast. Dhayantam, drinking. Kamalaika-kāntam. The only Lord of Lakshmi. Kamala, yes. Kamala is lotus and can be a name of Lakshmi. Kāntam is the consort or the Lord. eka only. Sambodhayam asa, she addresses him. Sambodhana, actually that's also the technical term for the vocative case in Sanskrit. When we call Hare Krishna, we're using the Sambodhana form of Hari and Hara and Krishna and Rama. Muda, joyfully. Number 11, in Vrajadama, Krishna was playing with his playmates, the boys of his age, who protected the animals with great love. Mother Yasoda called out to her own son, O Govinda Damodara Madhava. So Kridantam is playing Antarvrajam, in Vraja, Atmanam Svam, his own equals. Atmanam Svam Samang Vayasyai. So with the Vayasyas, who are the same Samam as himself, Atmanam Svam. Pashupala Balai. What are these Vayasyas doing? They are Palana, they are protecting the Pashu, the animals. Literally domesticated animals, Pashu, as opposed to Mriga. Premna, with prema, with devotion. Yasoda, prajuhava. Juhava is calling. Prajuhava, intensely calling. Or she called, who did she call? Krishna. That's the accusative form, Krishnam. So Krishna, 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 Krishnam, Krishna, Krishnan. So Krishnam is singular. Then Yasoda Gadham, being firmly tied up to the grinding mortar with a cow's rope by Mother Yasoda, the plunderer of butter, softly whimpered, Govinda Damodara Madhava. Well, here it sounds like it's Krishna himself calling his own names. So Gadham would mean firmly, Yasodaya, by Yasoda, Ulukalena, with a grinding mortar. So firmly bound by Yasoda. Go Kanta Pashena. By a cow's rope. Nibadyamanam, binding. Ruroda mandang. Navanita boji. Yeah, boji. So bojana means enjoying, eating, consuming. And a bojin is one who eats, who consumes, who enjoys. And in the nominative, it becomes boji, like yogi. Navanita is fresh butter, which when you get really fresh butter in India, it's very creamy and soft and white color, not yellow like you get it in the market. Ruroda would be whimpering mandam, softly. Whimpering is crying in a sort of pitiable way, being like, poor me. Nijangane. Okay, in his own courtyard, Krishna was carelessly playing with a bracelet. So the gopi took a ball of butter to him, and shutting his eyes with her palm, she distracted him. O Govinda, Damodara, Madhava, and then as explanation, guess what I have for you. So Nija Angane, in his own courtyard, Kankana Keli, he's playing with a bracelet. How? Lolam, he's just maybe swinging it around. And then Gopi Grihitva, having grasped Grihitva, Navanita Golam, a gola, which is a ball or a sphere of butter, Navanita, Amardayat, Panitalena netre. Okay, covering his eyes with her palm, Panitala, and Tala, Karatala. The Tala is the valley or the palm of the hand. Pani is hand. Netre, on the eye. Amardayat, covered, I guess. Shutting. And I thought maybe the next one would be a continuation, but it seems like each verse is kind of separate from the others. In house after house, groups of cowherd ladies gather on various occasions, and together they always chant the transcendental names of Krishna, Govinda, Damodara, and Madhava. Grihe, Grihe, Gopa, Vadu, Kadambaha. Here, Kadamba means groups, and Vadu means wives. And we have Vidya Vadu Jivanam in the Śiśu-gopa-gūd. So house to house, Gopa Vadu Kadambaha. What do these Gopa Vadu? What do they do? House to house. Sarve Militva, having met, Militva, having gathered. Samavaya Yoge. Samavaya Yoge, in unison maybe. Punyani Namani, the pious names. Patanti, reciting, they recite, they chant. Nityam, when? Always. What do they chant? Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. And Mandaramule, his face is pleasing, and the flute at his lips is filled with divine sound. Amidst the cows, gopas, and gopis, he stands at the base of a coral tree. Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. Mandaramule, the base of a coral tree, apparently. Vadana ābhirāme. His lips filled with divine sound. Let's see. Bimba. Hold on. Bimba Agre. Agre is lower lip. Red lips. I think it implies both lips. Purita Venu Nada. The sound, nada, of the Venu, the flute. Purita, filled with this sound. Go Gopa Gopi Jana Madhya Sangstam. So Sangstan is situated, standing. Madhya, amidst. And then Go Gopa Gopi Jana, amidst the group or the people or the crowd, the assembly of cows and cowherd maidens. And the last one for today. Having risen early in the Brahma Muhurta and remembering the childish activities of the son of Mother Yasoda, the gopis loudly sing while churning butter. Govinda, Damodara, Mādhaveti. Okay, that's going to be pretty straightforward, I think. Uttaya, having arisen, that's a gerund. There are gerunds that end with tva, like in the next line, smritva, and there are other gerunds that end with aya. So uttaya, gopya, gopyo, apara-ratra-bhoge. Why boga? I don't know, but apara-ratra must mean early morning, Brahma Muhurta. Smritva, having remembered, or it has this meaning, remembering, ongoing. Yasoda Sutta Bala Kelim. The Keli, the play of the child, Bala, Sutta, son, and Yasoda. So the child play of the son of Yasoda. Gayanti, there's the verb, and they sing. And how do they sing? Pra-uchai, very loudly. Not just uchai, which is aloud, but pra-uchai, prochai. And what else are they doing? Dadhi mantayantya. Their mantana means churning. Mantayantaha would mean causing to churn. Dadhi, the yogurt. Butter, it says here. And what are they singing? They're singing Govinda, Damodara, mādhaveti, Madhava. Okay. Let's see. Shall we see if we can sing this? Why not? Okay. We don't have our technician with us today, so we don't have our special microphone set up, but that's okay. Vicitra-varn ābharan ābhirāme bhidhehi vaktrāmbuja-rājah vicitra-varn madīye rasane mādhaveti sadā madīye rasane gra-rańge Govinda Damodara mādhaveti aṅkādirudham śiśu-gopa-gūd Stanam dayantam kamalaika-kāntam aṅkādirudham śiśu-gopa-gūd Stanam dayantam kamalaika-kāntam Sambodhayam asamuda Yasoda Govinda Damodara Mādhaveti Sambodhayam Asamudha Yasoda Govinda Damodara Mādhaveti Kridantamantar Rajamatmanam Sang Samam Vayasyai Pashupalabalai Kridantamantar Rajamatmanam Sang Samam Vayasyai Pashupalabalai Premna Yasoda Prajuhava Krishna Govinda Damodara Mādhaveti Premna Yasoda Prajuhava Krishna Govinda Damodara Mādhaveti. Oops. Yashodaya Gadham Ulukalena Gokanta Pashena Nibadyamanam Yashodaya Gadham Ulukalena Gokanta Pashena Nibadyamanam Rurodhamandam Navanita Boji Govinda Damodara Mādhaveti Rurodhamandam Navanita Boji Govinda Damodara Mādhaveti Nijangam Kankana Keli Lolam Gopi Grihitva Navanita Golam Nijangane Kankana Keli Lolam Gopi Grihitva Navanita Golam Amardayatpani Talena Netre Govinda Damodara Mādhaveti Amardayatpani Talena Netre Govinda Damodara Mādhaveti Grihe Gopavadhu Kadamba Sarve Militva Samavaya Yoge Grihe Gopavadhu Kadamba Sarve Militva Samavaya Yoge Punyani Namani Patanti Nityam Govinda Damodara Mādhaveti Punyani Namani Patanti Nityam Govinda Damodara Mādhaveti Mandara Mule Varana Viramam Bimbadare Purita Venunadham Mandara Mule Varana Viramam Bimbadare Purita Venunadham Go gopi janamadya sangstan Govinda Damodara mādhaveti gopi janamadya sangstan Govinda Damodara mādhaveti Uttaya gopyo pararatra bhoge smritva Yasoda sutabala kelim Uttaya gopyo pararatra bhoge smritva Yasoda sutabala kelim gayanti prochar dadimantayantyo Govinda Damodara mādhaveti gayanti prochar dadimantayantyo Govinda Damodara mādhaveti. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Gaur Hare Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hare Bol. Govinda Damodara Madhava ki jai. Yeah, each verse of this song is it's like a snapshot. It's like a what's the word I want? Cameo. It's a short little picture of Krishna and his devotees. And each one with the calling out of Govinda, Damodara, Madhava gives us a hint of what we can do. We can call out Govinda Damodara, Madhava, in all circumstances. And as we call these names, we can remember Krishna, Govinda, Damodara, and Madhava, and we can remember the circumstances, the different circumstances in which the devotees are chanting, like Mother Yasoda and the other gopis as they're churning butter in the early morning, engaging very energetically in their activity. Okay, so welcome again, everyone. Those of you who have joined later. I have one of my godbrothers, Hanumat Krishna Swami. He's always full of jokes, and he has this joke that when devotees come late to the Mangal Arti, when they come, when the pujari is just offering the fan, so he says those who are coming at that time, they are the fan club. And there's also the Lions Club, those who come when the Nrsimha prayers are offered. It has a kind of significance in America because the Lions Club is kind of everywhere, in every town and village of America. There's this club. They're a kind of, I don't know, pious organization for, they do all kinds of civic, conscientious civic things, and they're called the Lions Club. So he says, when you come at the time of prayer, a member of the Lions Club. Anyway, Hare Krishna, what got me onto that? Okay. So, what shall we talk about? Oh, we're talking about Damodara, I think. And before we do that, I have a show and tell. Should I give a show and tell? This is a brief one.
Yes, please, Guru Maharaj.
You had to say yes. Always have to agree with the guru, right? So, as some of you know, if most of you know, I was writing a small book, having been requested by Bilvamangala Swami Maharaj to write a book about deities and deity worship, and why are deities not, why it's not idolatry. And he asked, I think it was in 2018 or 2019? Now I'm not sure. But anyway, then came the pandemic and lockdown, so I got working on it during the lockdown and eventually finished it. And so then some months later, or maybe it's been a couple of years now we have the book. And here's the book. It's called Krishna's Wonderful Form, A Guide for the Perplexed. This subtitle, A Guide for the Perplexed, it's a little hard to see there, but it's underneath. If you do a search on Amazon in their book section and just search Guide for the Perplexed, you'll see hundreds of titles. It's become a very common thing to use that expression, which originated with the Jewish philosopher of the 12th or 13th century, named in English, he's called Maimonides. So he wrote a book called A Guide for the Perplexed, and it was a kind of philosophical, theological, Jewish, rabbinical book, sort of defending Orthodox Jewish ideas. Anyway, somehow that his title became a subtitle for many books, including this one. And so now it's available. It's becoming available. It has been shipped already. It's arrived at Bhaktivedanta Library Services in Belgium, so you could order from there. But I don't know if they may not have it yet in their online catalog, so you may have to, I don't know, write them a message and say, I want this book. It's eventually coming to other places. I don't know. It's coming to England, and it's coming to America, Australia, and sorry, not Argentina, because there was no order of an English book from Argentina. So yeah, like that. South Africa, I think it's going to be going there as well. Anyway, I'm very happy the book came out, and I hope that it will be useful for devotees to explain our deity worship, and I hope it'll be useful for others, congregation members, people in general. It's, you know, it's a small book. It's a deep delving into the philosophy, theology, but it's meant as a, you know, as a general aid. It has 4 color photos in it. In the middle of the book. Let's see. The deities of Radha Krishna at the ISKCON temple in Toronto. Ta-da. And the deities of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu at ISKCON Johannesburg in South Africa. And the deities of Krishna as Jagannath, Baladev, Balabhadra, and Subhadra. Oh, it doesn't say where they are. Anyway, that's there. And then the deity of Krishna as Radharaman, who manifested himself to Gopal Bhatta Goswami in Vrindavan. So we get Radharaman included in the book. Rasodadi Hari.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. I would like to ask, I guess this is BBT book.
It is, yes.
So, but BBT from Australia and BBT there.
Yes, BBT Australia.
I'm asking because sometimes BBT is not so flexible. For example, if Daityesha want to translate in Spanish there, or we want to translate in Croatian, I guess they will ask for double BBT price. Is it possible that you ask Maharaj that we get it like for other countries, for just for devotees, just for the, I don't know, something.
Get a special deal.
Deal, yeah. Because I'm asking this, this Krishna Seva, I got several feedback from devotees, God brothers. They cannot read this. That's too that is too complex. It is more meant for academics, and they need something simpler.
Yeah.
And I always thought, I guess this one is for devotees, for beginners, for new
Yeah.
people, like that.
Yes, I wrote it in the form of a conversation to make it especially accessible. So it's me talking with some imaginary young people who are, interested and curious and intelligent, and they ask intelligent questions. But it's quite, I would say, quite accessible. That was the whole idea of the book. Yeah. So you want to get it translated into Croatian and
For sure, because even this book on cow, your book is also not so easy for some to read, even translate.
yes, I know what to do.
What to do, and I think this is good opportunity. But I guess, if you can ask this, because if we ask regular foot soldiers, so to say, no one, then it might be different. If possible, we will translate this for sure and publish.
Meaning you would publish it rather than BBT Croatia, or?
I mean, it can be even BBT Croatia, but if they, usually they need some, how it BBT works. They print a lot for a smaller price, but they need a double BBT price at least for, for retail price, and then it can be expensive. I don't know how big this book is. How big is this one book? But it will sell more. It will be for mostly devotees in Croatia. I imagine maybe here and there someone who is new, and maybe we will print 500. I mean, BBT Croatia can also print it, but which price they are demanding. That's the point.
We can discuss.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. All right. What shall we do now? Darya Chandrika, are you there?
Yes. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Yes, congratulations for the books first. And we can go, we can try with the questions. We can continue with the questions from devotees about Kartik, if you would like to.
All right.
Okay. So I will ask you the first question. There is two questions in the beginning from Avadut Rai Prabhu. And he's saying that, he's questioning now, the first question is, Yashoda bound Krishna with ropes, so Krishna is called Damodara. But when and how Radha did bound Krishna with ropes, so that we chant Jaya Radha Damodar at the end of Damodar prayers?
Yeah, this is this question or something related comes up a lot, and I'm not so expert with these esoteric pastimes, but I know that it is said that Srimati Radharani in some pastime has bound Krishna with her sidelong glance. Now there may be more than, there's probably unlimited pastimes. So maybe there's another story of the gopis binding Krishna. But in one reference that I found, she binds him with her sidelong glance. And I find that interesting. It's we might So let me now ask a question to all of you. You can see what you come up with. How can we compare, or can we compare, this sort of binding of Krishna with Mother Yashoda's binding of Krishna with the rope? Anyone have some suggestion?
Guru Maharaj, can you ask again, please?
Can we compare, or how can we compare, or how are they similar, the two kinds of binding of Krishna? One was Mother Yashoda with a rope binding Krishna. The other was Radharani with a glance.
So if anyone wants to answer or give at least some thought, please raise your virtual hand and I will unmute you.
Your virtual hand. Yes.
Gira-rańge.
Lalita.
I will give it a go, Guru Maharaj. Just one thing that came to my mind is that these are very exalted, elevated pastimes of the Lord. But I could maybe speculate from my own level, if that's allowed. So I've understood your question, that what's the similarity in between Krishna being bound by Srimati Radharani's sidelong glance, or Mother Yashoda's binding him with the ropes. Well, one similarity I found is a love of them for Krishna. Like Srimati Radharani loves Krishna and Mother Yasoda loves Krishna. But there is also a difference.
Mm-hmm.
It's a difference in the rasa.
Mm-hmm.
And the rasa of baby Krishna and Mother Yasoda is a sort of a sweet baby sort of rasa. How to explain it? And
Well,
and
what's
with
the technical term?
a binding, right? The technical
No.
term. Sorry.
What is the rasa? What is the technical term for the rasa?
Of Mother Yasoda and Krishna.
Ah,
Well,
yes.
Well, Srimati Radharani and Krishna rasa is
No, there's a term. There's a one-word term, Sanskrit term.
Vatsalya rasa. Daitesha Prabhu is
Yeah.
helping. So Vatsalya rasa is the Mother Yasoda and Krishna. Beg your pardon, I just got confused. And the other is Parakiya rasa between Srimati.
More generally, what is the other?
I don't know. I mean, I do know, but I'm just put on spot. Can't remember now.
Madhurya.
Madhurya rasa. Yes, Madhurya rasa.
Madhurya. Okay. Also, Shringara, these two terms, I don't know, they're kind of somewhat interchangeable. So yeah, okay, there's a similarity and there's a difference. Good, thank you. Nritya Kishori, something else?
Hare Krishna. Yes, I was also thinking about this point, being bound with love, by love, and also that there, what I see similar as reciprocation in both cases, reciprocation of Krishna towards Mother Yasoda and of Krishna towards Radharani's sidelong glances. And And one thing I was thinking, like, I don't know, like, what is now the answer, that Krishna allowed Mother Yasoda to bound him. Like, it didn't work in the beginning, but like he allowed her. And how is it with Radharani's sidelong glance? Like, Krishna allows it, or?
I suspect there's a whole different sense there. Okay, maybe in some sense we can say Krishna allows, but the understanding would be more like Radharani is actually fully in control, right? It just takes one, whereas with Mother Yasoda, she has to really, really work at it to bind Krishna. She has to collect all these ropes, tie them all together, again and again, trying, and it's not working. And then finally Krishna agrees. Okay. With Radharani, she throws one sidelong glance at Krishna and he's finished. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Rasodari, Hari.
Yes, I just want to mention that yesterday I read that there is another lila where Radharani really, with her rope, she bind Krishna. And then Krishna said, this is answer to Avadutara's question. Krishna said that now I will be known as Damodara, so this is in the spiritual world, and I will manifest this lila in the material world with Mother Yasoda, and I will be then called also Damodara.
So it happens already before Krishna appears in this world.
Yeah. Just.
And what were the circumstances of Radharani binding Krishna?
Krishna was late because he was with Chandravali, but he lied. He said I was busy, something happened in home and something. And she was angry, and then he bite.
Yeah, Krishna making all these excuses, right? Okay. So then we have two kinds of binding from Radharani and all of this. So we can say that the primordial binding of Krishna is by Radharani, and Yashoda's binding of Krishna is kind of derivative or secondary. At least from one perspective. Okay, anyway. So we have Damodara. He whose stomach has been bound, Dhamma. God is bound with a rope. Or God is bound, the idea of God being bound, although he's completely independent. This is a special flavor of the Vaishnava understanding. Okay, good.
Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Sanga also wants to share something.
Bhakti Sanga, meaning Avadhuta-rai.
Okay, Avadhuta-rai Prabhu.
He seems to have disappeared.
Yeah, looks like. Okay, so we will go to another question, which is also from Avadhuta-rai Prabhu, actually. And he's asking.
Maybe we.
Yes.
Maybe we should let someone else, and maybe come back to his question.
Okay. Okay. Sure. So next question is from Nitya Kishori from Golokadam, Germany. And she's asking, how can one make all the rituals that are followed in Kartik less ritualistic and more spiritual, so that they aid one in developing spontaneous love for Radha and Krishna?
Yes. Yeah, there's this negative connotation to the word ritual. Ritual is something which is when you do something ritually, it can mean that you do it without feeling. You're only doing it formally or externally or superficially or just following the rules. That's a kind of negative sense of ritual. Well, first we can remember that there are nine processes of devotional service, and one of them is archana. Archana is, yes, it's formal worship, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't have to be superficial. It can be with as much heart and dedication and devotion as all the other kinds of bhakti, of devotion. There's a sense also, though, what seems to may work against our feeling devotion is that ritual is associated with repetition, doing something repeatedly and therefore possibly mechanically. And that can be an obstacle rather than a facilitation of devotion. Therefore, Rupa Goswami says in the Upadeshamrita, he says, Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyama agraha. And I think most of you know, it can mean both niyama agraha, neglecting of regulation, or niyama agraha, overdoing it, or doing niyama in name only, rules for the sake of rules. I mentioned last time niyama seva, that we are serving the Lord when we follow rules, when we follow some vrata, some sankalpa, some regulated practice. That can be called niyama seva. And Rupa Goswami is saying it's something to be careful about, not to underdo it and not to overdo it. Not too little, not too much. Niyama agraha or niyama agraha. Another point, though, is we are challenged when we are doing some regulated activity to remember what is our purpose. And if we can remember that the Lord is actually present and he's actually seeing, he's watching, he's listening. And so as we, for example, offer Deepa to Damodara every evening, if we just make it a point to be aware, be thoughtful that yes, the Lord is present and he is seeing my offering. He is seeing also not just the motions that I'm going through, he's seeing the heart with which I do it. And we may want to even imagine, just imagine that it is evening arati time, and not only is Krishna standing there on the altar or in the picture, but suddenly, without any warning, he just walks in the door. He just walks in and sits down and smiles. What would you do then? You'd probably faint. You would be so bewildered. But we can try to appreciate Krishna is present. And of course, we can pray to Krishna, my dear Lord, here I am. I'm trying to please you. I'm doing this. I know I'm kind of on the ritualistic side of things. I'm just absorbed in the externals. But please, let me go deeper. Let me open up to your presence so that my routine becomes anything but routine. And let me get off of the mental platform, as we say, and go to the heart platform. As Mahatma Prabhu says in one of his affirmations, one of his japa affirmations, I get off of the mind, or I go out of the mind and into the heart. Yeah, he says it in a kind of funny way, because in English, he says, I get out of my mind, or I go out of my mind and into my heart. So in English, when you say he's out of his mind, it means someone has gone mad. He's gone out of his mind. So, but it's not just out of the mind, it's in the heart. So from the mind to the heart, from the frying pan into the fire. So let's go from the frying pan into the fire, the fire of devotion. So we can pray like that. Let me be in the fire of devotion.
Guru Maharaj, Sita Sundari Mataji, she wrote in the chat beautiful realization. She said that, Hare Krishna, everyone. My Guru Maharaj, Bir Krishna Goswami, often stresses that we ask not just what we do, but why. This morning, I noticed that I went into the temple room and paid my obeisances automatically, but did not connect insight to why I was doing it. So I tried again and tried to connect to why I'm falling to the ground to greet the Lord. So she was aware of that, yeah, why we are also doing, not just what and how.
Yeah. Yes, when I was doing research on deity worship, this was persistently my question: why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? And sometimes the exact answer is not always clear. And some things seem to be hard to get the answers to. Why? The one that comes up now and then is, why does it say that it's an offense to wear red or blue clothes in front of the deities? Yeah, that's one of the seva aparads, to wear red or blue in front of the deities. I don't think we came up with a really satisfactory answer to that. Maybe Vrindapati knows an answer. He's our expert on Archana.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
That's why we don't wear blue and red on the altar.
Yeah.
So I remember reading this and having the same problem a little while back. And I kind of really tried to avoid red and blue for many years. But I realized actually there are a couple of answers that came. I can't say that they're the concrete answers to these questions, but Jananivas Prabhu gave, I think it was Jananivas or Pankajanga Prabhu, I can't remember who to quote here, but somebody said, one of them had said that Chandravali and Jatila, Jatila and Kutila were these colors, which is strange because Srimati Radharani also wears a blue sari, but anyway, maybe there is these two colors that they don't wear, and it kind of distracts the pastime, so they don't wear those colors. So that wasn't kind of like, I wasn't fully satisfied with the answer, but that was one. The other is probably, it could probably be the source of the pigmentation of the dye could be perhaps not considered to be a very clean one, or it could stain. It could be that the staining of that color that comes, because in India, if you go to India, you buy any cloth which is red color or blue color, when you wash it, the stain comes out really consistently quite a lot, and it can get over other things. And so it could be that could be the case, but I have no satisfactory answer, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, it could be a combination of both reasons.
Yeah, it could be. But if anybody finds out, please tell me also. I'd be interested to know that one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, the point is, going back to Sita Sundari's point, quoting Bir Krishna Goswami, it's good to try to get a sense of the why of something. And what we found with deity worship and really all the regulations of Vaishnavas, they all seem to boil down to essentially one principle, and that is showing respect. Okay, respect, you may say that sounds a bit dry and formal, but that's the formal side of bhakti that Archana is. And then based on or beginning with respect, it can grow, it can unfold, it can blossom into devotion. But that's kind of the common denominator, it seems to me, of all these different regulations. Respect, showing respect. Okay, is that all right? Where are we now?
Okay. So next questions. There are actually two similar questions. The topic is...
This is like a quiz show. They used to have, maybe they still do on television, these quiz shows. Can you answer this question in 3 seconds? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so the topic is about should I keep a Kartik vow for myself or not? So Nritya Kishori, she's asking, one should keep a Kartik vow for oneself, whereas we give initiation vows in front of others. Is it tradition that some vows are private and some public? An anonymous devotee asks, I'm a little confused how we lose benefit of vow if we say that we follow. Namely, it is said that if we perform devotional service, that it is not possible to lose it, Rather, our devotional bank account is always accumulating.
Yeah. Good questions. How to understand these things. Well, the point about vowing, and the word is vow, not wow. Wow, that's W-O-W. Vow is V-O-W in English. I think the idea behind not telling one's vows is to not be advertising oneself. That if I'm concerned that others will be impressed that I'm chanting so and so many rounds a day, or eating only once a month, or then you know, what is that? That's pride. And how does pride help us in spiritual life? Of course, there can also be a kind of spiritual pride, but this would not count in that way. So I think that's the idea of keeping vows to oneself. And then, and it just now occurs to me, we may remember the story of Haridas Thakur and his chanting. Somehow or other, we all seem to know he chanted 3 lakhs of names a day. He must have told someone. But the story of the temptations, the 2 temptations, one by Mayadevi, one by a prostitute, unnamed. And when they are propositioning him, he says, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I haven't finished my vow yet." So there he's not showing off. He's just, well, he may be saying the truth, and it's probably so. He wanted to chant more. And it may be a ploy to get them to give up and leave, but it's not out of pride. He's not trying to impress these ladies that look what a renounced person I am. He's just kind of saying, well, I'm sorry, I'm busy. Now, then, okay, there's still the other half of that question is, how is it we make a public vow when we are at the time of initiation? Now here, I can't say with 100% confidence, but it seems to me this is something of an innovation. Whether Srila Prabhupada's Guru Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, I would think they had initiations in public, but were they pronouncing vows? That I don't know. And to my memory from studying the Hari Bhakti Vilasa, where there are 3 different procedures for initiation, one extremely elaborate, one more moderate, and one more simple. I don't remember there being any such vows. What there is, at the time of initiation, the guru instructs the disciple on what he or she should do, what the practices are that he or she should do regularly. But this, as a vow, to my knowledge, this is something that Srila Prabhupada brought in because he wanted to really emphasize this commitment that one makes that would be understood in, shall we say, traditional Indian society as not requiring a vow. Of course, when you accept a guru, you follow the standards that the guru follows. So the guru is observing 4 regulative principles, so I will also follow these principles. That's understood. The guru is chanting so many rounds of Ma mantra every day. I'm also, that would be my understanding. But now comes this question, so how is it then that one might lose the benefit of one's vow if one tells others what is one's vow? And I would just say that's part of the Shastric way of making a point very strongly and not indulge one's tendency to display pride. Because that pride could indeed, in a sense, not cancel out the benefit, but could cover over the benefit. The example is given of the bank account. You may have so much money in the bank, but if you might have, the government might freeze your bank account, so you cannot access. You have so much money, but you can't get at it because the government has frozen it. Those are my thoughts. Anyone else have any thoughts on these? Hare Krishna. Okay.
Okay.
Everyone is stunned into silence. Oh, Nritya Kishori.
Regarding this losing benefit, like could it be like if when one is proud, then there are like bigger chances of committing Vaishnava aparats?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
also saying like, oh, I'm following this and somebody else is not following and speaking badly about others. Just a thought.
Yes, that's a good point. So it's the pride is opening oneself up to offending other Vaishnavas, and it's like a domino effect. One thing leads to another. So yes, good point. Dira Lalita.
I was also thinking, for example, if somebody would announce his own vows publicly, as you said, Gurmad, it's not good to advertise yourself and certainly make oneself proud. Look who I'm following, right? But I was just thinking, one is also bound by public to follow those vows properly. If somebody asks him, especially senior, well, how are your vows going? And that person hasn't followed up on it, then it could cause him a false ego burning or something like that.
Yeah, that's the other side, of course. And I would say that could be a reason for having our main, lifetime vows we make public. So in the initiation, it's quite public because, it helps the commitment to have a community in which one is making that commitment.
Yeah, it helps us to follow and become stronger for that.
Yeah. Brindapati, yes.
Myself. So I remember reading a couple of things about keeping a vow in secret. And the Mahabharata and Janakya Pandit both make a reference to, if you, I think it was Bhishma, somewhere mentions this, I can't remember, please forgive me if this is inaccurate, but Chanakya Pandit also says this, that when you announce your plans to somebody, or a vow or something that you're going to undertake but have not undertaken it, it loses potency. So you have to keep it secret until, or unless you confide with somebody who is going to be cooperating or encouraging the project. Because one could be that somebody could demotivate you. The other thing is that somebody could take advantage of your taking that vow in a negative context. The other thing is that with the psychological framework that comes with it, is that sometimes when we announce something that we're going to be doing something, we kind of complete it within our mind before we're actually even doing it, and therefore it's not done properly. So there's some kind of connection with that. But in Tantra, in the agamic field of Tantra, it is mentioned that some vows, if they are announced, the benefit of that will be taken by the minor deities like yakshas, gandharvas, bhutas, and pretas. So if we make a kind of an announcement that we're following some kind of vow, sometimes you have to make an announcement that you're taking a vow so that people could cooperate. And in other circumstances, they try to keep all mantras, the name of your guru, your mantra, the amount of sadhana that you're going to do, because it threatens the other deities that are kind of, like Indra, for example, is threatened by Vishwamitra's penance.
Yeah, we know that Indra is, he always has a problem with insecurity.
Yeah.
And when he sees someone being a little austere, then he wants to undermine that.
Yeah.
And so better not to let him know what it is.
And Shastra also says in the Puranas, the Shastra also says that any vow or donation that's done in secret, the efficacy of that mantra or that vow becomes multiplied by 100,000 times. So it becomes even more potent to be able to do that within, when you do that in secret, for example. Yeah.
There's something that reminds me, there's something in the Christian tradition, it may even be in the New Testament, that Jesus advised that one should pray.
I think Guru Maharaj's connection is lost.
In making it silent.
I don't know if it's me, but I think Guru Maharaj, your connection is not stable.
Yes, it's not stable, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that. I don't know what I can do. Yeah. What to do? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Coming and going. Okay. Yeah, so these are interesting points. The tantric side is interesting, the idea of various invisible beings trying to take away or being enabled to take away one's benefits. There's a struggle for power. Tantra is, of course, there's Vaishnava Tantra, that's what we do. But on the more rajasic and tamasic levels, Tantra seems to be very much about manipulating power. Isn't it? And there's always competition for power. So, what else?
Okay, so the next question is a little philosophical question from Avadhuta Raya Prabhu. In the Hari Bhakti Vilas quoted from Padma Purana, Dhruva is mentioned as worshipping Sri Damodara in Mathura during the Kartika month, and this way he became fixed in devotion. Question: if Dhruva worshipped Krishna as Damodar, why did he ultimately realize Vishnu and not Krishna?
That's a real Avadhuta Raya question. Krishna. You may have to ask either Damodar or Vishnu or Dhruva Maharaj why this was the case. But one thing we might want to say is that, and I mentioned this last time, Damodar, we of course think in relation to Damodar Lila. There is, however, a Damodar who is one of the forms of Narayana. So in classical Pancharatra with 12 forms, and then I guess 24 forms. But one of the 12 forms is Damodar, and this is Lord Narayan with 4 arms. So because we understand that the original form of the Lord is Krishna, two-handed Krishna playing a flute, we would understand that he's the original Damodar, and it makes sense based on the Leela. He is bound by a rope around the belly, and it's Mother Yasoda who does that. And it's Radharani who does that. And then, indirectly, that becomes a name for one of the forms of Narayana. Dhruva may have worshipped Damodar, but he may not necessarily have earned his place to be with Damodar. As we know, Dhruva had his own ideas of why he is doing all this worship. He was aiming for a specific result, to gain something, to gain power, essentially. And so the Lord is always reciprocating in every way with all of us for what we are pursuing. And so he reciprocated with, as the Lord of maintenance and as the Lord of the universe. Vishnu is the Lord of, he is the Lord of the universe who enters into the universe. Vish means to enter and to pervade. And it was certainly the appropriate form of the Lord to reciprocate Dhruva Maharaj's desire, which, of course, he immediately abandoned when he received the darshan of Vishnu. But it was, so to say, too late. he had to receive that benediction, had to rule for, what was it, 36,000 years or whatever. So it's just the Lord reciprocating appropriately. Ye yatamang prapadyante tangs tata eva bhajamyaham. Tangs tata eva, tangs tataiva. Eva has a sense of emphasis and also exclusive. So like that only. Yata, as they, yata mang prapadyante, as they surrender, as they submit themselves to me. Tangs tata, yata tata, in that way only, tata eva. Bhajami aham. And bhajami here doesn't mean I worship, it means I reciprocate, I exchange. So we have a very, very perfectly just Lord in that respect. And so the lesson is, be careful what you desire. That's what we want to, that's the takeaway. Be careful what you want to desire. You bring your desires to the Lord, he'll say, oh, okay, you want, all right. You asked for it. There was a kind of entertainment television show when I was a kid. It was called You Asked for It, and they invited people to write in all crazy things that they would like to see happen. And then this program, they would take these suggestions. I can't think of any examples now. You can probably find some on YouTube if you want to. If you have nothing better to do. I just remembered it's you asked for it. So then they would respond, okay, you asked for it. And then they would show whatever it was that people asked for. It was typically some really crazy things. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. So
How are we doing? How many tens of hundreds of questions more do we have?
we have a few more, yes, Guru Maharaj.
A few more. Oh,
Yes.
all right.
So
okay.
two similar questions. First one is from Rasa Dadi Hari Prabhu. He's asking, Kartik time is often associated with gaining special grace. At a recent lecture, you said that the devotees seem to be seemingly overwhelmed by feet, lotus feet of Lord, or dust from those feet. Can you elaborate on why the feet and dust are taken as an example of surrender, devotion, instruction, grace, etc., and not directly another Sanskrit expression or word, or even part of the Lord's body? And an anonymous devotee is asking what practically means to follow in footsteps of previous acharyas and Krishna.
Right. Okay. So it's about feet and dust and footprints and footsteps. Well, one thing about we can look at it in terms of symbolism, and good symbols will be rich in meaning. They will have they can have a variety of significance. It can be deep significance and a wide and a range of meanings and connotations. So what is it about lotus feet? First of all, lotus. Why lotus? I never really quite understood about lotus until I visited many years ago Guyana in northern South America. It was British Guyana. Now I guess it's just Guyana. And I saw the real thing, lotuses growing wild along the roadside in ponds of water, the real thing, pankaja. And they were so brilliant, bright pink colors, hot pink, and with these very wide, what do you call it, the platform, the whirl. When I saw that, I thought, they got it right. Lotus is really a special kind of flower, very beautiful. And there's an irony here, because normally we don't think of feet as being beautiful. We kind of tend to, first of all, feet are the lowest part of the body. And if you want to insult someone, just touch them with your feet, as what's his name? Not Brihaspati, who kicks Lord Vishnu? Brigu, yes. So he intentionally, he wanted to insult Vishnu. He was testing, we know the story. And what better way to insult than to kick with the foot? So that's what he does. So it's offensive. One of the first things that a child in traditional India would be trained is how to control the feet. This was told to me by Bhaktividya Swami. They are toilet trained and they are foot trained. What to do and what not to do with the feet, and especially what not to touch, and where not to point the feet, and so on, because it's offense. But this is all inverted when it comes to the world of bhakti. So to be touched by the Lord's feet is the greatest blessing. And that's why when Shivananda Sena was neglectful for making arrangements in travel, Lord Nityananda becomes angry, and he shows his anger by kicking Shivananda Sena in the chest. Shivananda Sena takes it as the greatest blessing. His wife didn't understand. His wife took it as a great offense. So the lowest becomes the highest. And we can say this is in so many ways, in so many aspects of bhakti. That which is normally considered low becomes high in the calculus of bhakti. And also, just sort of practically, when you think about it, we say sitting at the feet of the guru. The idea is the guru is sitting and speaking to us, and there's a technical thing I heard many years ago that we're actually benefited. We get the sound more completely or more properly from up to down. When we sit in the lower position, then the sound vibration coming from the preacher comes down to us. It is showered upon us. So we're receiving the blessing. We are putting ourselves in the position of being receptacles of the truth. Whereas if we stand, the guru's sitting down and she is lecturing, speaking, or instructing us, maybe instructing us. We're standing and the guru is sitting. What's going on there? What's that relationship? That could be problematic. Of course, there were many times Srila Prabhupada would be giving lectures, morning Bhagavatam class, and devotees were sometimes nodding off. They were tired because, they were not used to getting up so early in the morning and having a whole morning program. And they were working very hard and they were tired. So then they would have to stand up to stay awake when Prabhupada was lecturing. What else? Dust. Dust from the feet. Yes. Ai dina, what is it? Ai nanda tanuja kinkarang. Patitang mang vishame bhavam buddho kripaya tavapada pankaja stita duli sadrishang vichintaya. So, duli sadrisha, being like dust. Stita, which is situated on the feet. Please regard me as that. Vichintaya. Please consider me as a speck of dust at your feet. Because it's about humility. It's about being small. Small is beautiful. There was a famous book written by an American back in, maybe it was in the 70s, called Small is Beautiful. It was a bestseller. And he was just arguing that because Americans were building and people were buying these huge cars. In other words, he was arguing against extravagance, unnecessary extravagance. So he said, small is beautiful. And we say also, small is beautiful. A devotee wants to be small. The smaller, the better. And then following in the footsteps of the devotee, of the Vaishnava, of the Guru, the Acharya, well, we can say it's the Guru is climbing up the mountain and we are climbing after him. So we're carefully, it's a dangerous path. We don't want to slip off the path. So we look carefully ahead of us and we see where the Guru is going or where the Vaishnavas are going, and we follow them. And someone is following us. It's a line of devotees, and we're climbing up the mountain. And there's so much about Krishna's lotus feet and about the insignia on his feet and about the impressions of his feet in Vrindavan and how everyone in Vrindavan is worshipping those feet. Why feet? Well, this is another point, is they are a kind of, the footprint is, if you think about it, footprint is very interesting, or handprint, any kind of print on the earth is interesting because it's a negative exact image of whatever it was that made the image. So it has a kind of it has a kind of tactile reality to it, which is I don't know, it's special to such imprints. And we may want to say this is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was thrown into ecstatic emotions when he went to Gaya and he entered the Vishnupada temple. There's a temple in Gaya you can visit today. There's a large, in the center of this temple is this very large, more or less flat slab stone, and in this is a large footprint. And the understanding is this is Lord Vishnu's footprint, or more specifically, it's Vamanadev's footprint as he is becoming Trivikrama, the Lord who stretches out his other foot and penetrates through the covering of the universe. So feet prints are special. Yeah, there's a sense of presence, I would say, with footprints. They are also, it's the footprints of Krishna and Radha that the gopis first see when they are searching for Krishna in the forest in the Rasa Lila. They're searching, and then they come upon these footprints, and then they see that, oh, there's two sets of footprints. Oh, now there's one set of footprints. Oh, now the one set are deeper than they were before. Why? Because the one is holding the other, because Krishna had lifted up Radharani. So all of this becomes evidence for Krishna. Krishna is present. I hope that gives some idea about feet and dust and footprints and
Yeah, thank you, Guru Maharaj. I also heard that to follow Krishna's lotus feet is also like follow Guru's instructions. That also meant that.
Yeah. Yes, when we speak of serving the feet of the Guru or serving the Lord's lotus feet, padavanam, the idea is, in particular with padasevanam, doing menial service, doing, you know the word menial. Menial means simple, practical things like cleaning the temple. That would be padasevanam. Washing the pots is padasevanam. A lot of physical kind of service we can think of as padasevanam. But more broadly also, any service is service to the feet of the Lord and the Guru. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. For the last question, because it is connected to Monday, Nrita Kishori is asking, on Monday, 17th of October, is Bahulashtami. in Vrindavana accepted as the appearance day of Radha-kund and Shyama-kund. Yeah. So according to Gopala Champu by Jiva Goswami, demon Aristasura was killed in the spring. What is the reason for this different information? Is it due to different appearances of the Lord, or is there some other reasons? And another question, should we celebrate Bahulashtami during Kartik?
Oh. Yeah, all I can say is if you're in Vrindavan and you go to celebrate appearance of Radha Kunda at this time, be ready to be very much squeezed in an incredibly huge crowd. But it's a very sweet and peaceful crowd, I have to say. This I did, I think it was 1988, we were there. It was amazingly peaceful. At the same time, it was so packed. And this I have not personally experienced, but I've heard the same celebration in the spring is much less populated and therefore has a very different mood. We may, perhaps it's a sweeter mood, but you know, why is it there's 2 times that Radha-kund appear? I'm sure it's because there are 2 different versions, and there's traditions that develop around each of these accounts, and we can always use anya kalpa nyaya to say, in one age it happened at this time, in another age it happened at that time. And Krishna's pastimes are going on eternally, which means they're always going on. It's Krishna's eternal roadshow. So that's about all I can say to that. I wouldn't worry about it too much. You know, these sort of contradictions come up, but they're not necessarily something to be too worried about. They just show some of the additional, another dimension of the mysterious ways of the Lord. That's what comes to my mind. Vrindapat, do you want to add something?
I had read from.
If you take your finger off of the microphone.
Yeah, can you? Is that better?
That's much better.
Okay. So I heard from a lecture that I was listening to that one of the days is the actual appearance of the Gund itself, and the other one was the discovery by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That was the date. That's why there's 2.
Oh, okay, well, that would be simple and straightforward. Yeah, I guess then we have to wonder which is which, but okay.
Okay, thank you. That was my 2 pence. Well,
Thank you. Sounds good. Good. Well, I think with that, we have come to the end of our session for today. And again, I want to thank you all for joining, and wish you all a good time these next 2 weeks, a good and inspiring and inspired time. And here's a final comment from Avadhuta Rai. I read somewhere, he's always reading somewhere, the dust on the feet of a sadhu is the dust of many holy places he visited. The dust of Vrindavan is the dust of Radha Krishna's lotus feet. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. Right. So everyone, keep well and chant and be happy and keep up your Kartik vratas, if you have Kartik vratas, and do them happily and joyfully, and in this way be most pleasing to yourself as well as the Lord. Ye yatamang prapadyante tangstataiva vajamyaham. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai
Thank
Gaur
you,
Premanande, Hari Bo.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
All glories to assembled.